I have a question for you. What's the cost of continuing to work when otherwise you could have been free? Right? These are likely going to be your healthiest, most active years. I call them your dog years. You know, they say a dog ages 7 years for every one of the human years. These are our dog years, and you want to make sure that you don't waste them. So be sure to watch the whole video. I share several tips, several ideas in this video, and I don't know which one's going to resonate with you. So be sure to watch to the end, because it could be the last one, it could be the first one, it could be all of them. Okay, let's go for a walk and talk about idea number one. Idea number one is to focus on what you can control and don't worry so much about the things that you can't control. And the secret is understanding which is which, right? The things we can't control, none of us can control, you know, how the stock market's going to do, how the economy is going to do. There are people in the country that do control how the economy is going to do, and we're seeing that play out. But most of my viewers, that's not us, right? So focus on what you can control and what can you control. Well, given that there's stock market volatility, right? What's your asset allocation? Just because the stock market's going up and down doesn't mean you need to feel the full burden of that. So what percent of your portfolio is in stocks? What percent's in bonds? And thinking through that before the stock market goes through a scary period of time, right? Once the market's down 20, 30, 40%, that's not the time to be thinking through asset allocation. The time to be thinking through something like that, like important like that, is when you're calm and you're in a place where you can make good decisions for yourself. Okay, so what can you control? Again, asset allocation. Hopefully you can prepare yourself mentally for, you know what, if you're going to be in retirement 30 years, is there a likelihood that you're going to have a year where the stock market's down 20, 30%? You know, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but I think so. Maybe even worse. Hopefully not, but maybe even worse. Okay. Number two is to be flexible. Don't be dogmatic, right? I mean, I've been a financial advisor for over 20 years, and I can tell you, you know, we want our clients to have the highest likelihood of achieving their goals that we can give them, right? So to us, 95% is better than 90%, right? Because I want my clients to have this high level of certainty. But the trade-off, of course, is it takes more money to get this higher level of certainty. And for most of us, what the additional money means is we're working a few more years, or we're saying we're going to spend less per year, right? So those are trade-offs, and maybe you don't need to make those trade-offs, right? Maybe 80% of plan is okay, right? And you're flexible, and if depending on how things go, you've got plan B associated with it. So, you know, be flexible, don't be dogmatic. I think, you know, let's move on to the next one, which is, I think it makes sense to work with a professional. You know, can you do this yourself? You probably can, right? Just like I can take care of my health myself, but I still want to work with a professional to make sure that I'm healthy. And if I've misunderstood something, if I need to tweak something, I've shared in the past, you know, my body is susceptible to cholesterol. It's super sensitive to it, right? And unfortunately, there's some called the calcium score. So I've got the heart of a 30-year-old, thank goodness. But as my doctor says, I have the plumbing of a 70-year-old, so I have to be careful. You know, I wouldn't know that if I didn't hire professionals. So yes, professionals, yes, fee-only financial advisors cost money, but I think it's money very well spent. And you want to make sure you're looking for the right thing. If you're working with a professional, again, I suggest fee-only financial advisors. But a lot of people say, well, I'm going to look for an advisor that can beat the market. You know, if an advisor charges, you know, a certain amount, you know, they have to be able to beat the market by that amount. Well, if only it were that easy, right? And you'll have a lot of people that can tell you that they can do that. But nobody knows, right? Regardless of how they've done in the past. Even the venerable Warren Buffett, right? Who's done very, very well over time. There have been multiple 5-year rolling periods where even Warren Buffett has underperformed the S&P 500. So the point here is think about working with a professional. The other thing, and be thinking about, you know, I said nobody can tell you that they're going to beat the market, right? I mean, the regulators, the SEC, even tell folks, you know, past performance doesn't dictate future performance. But what you're looking for is somebody you can work with to help you make better decisions for your situation, and that can pay for itself multiple times over, because unfortunately when it comes to investing, making a mistake, doing an investment, doing an asset allocation that's not right for you, unfortunately can end up costing you tens of thousands of dollars or more. Okay, let's keep going. Asset allocation, this is another tip. Asset allocation is going to dictate the vast majority of your investment returns, as opposed to the individual stocks. Now, there's outliers, but can somebody pick those outliers, those companies that are going to do well? I think you're better served to just think about asset allocation dictating the majority of your returns. Okay. Another thing is you're thinking about your budget, you know, and we're all old enough that we know this already. You know, focus on experiences, focus on adventures, and focus on relationships. You know, we've been playing this game of life long enough. We've been chasing happiness by buying, you know, a bigger house, a fancier car, more toys, right? I don't know about you, but for me, those don't bring me happiness. And for most of the people I work with, those don't bring happiness. So as you're looking at your budget, are you continuing to work for another 3 or 5 years so you can buy more stuff that maybe you don't need? If so, think about, you know, does that make sense? Or would you rather have your freedom? Is being able to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, with whom you want to do it, is that more important than more stuff in your house? Okay. The next thing I want to encourage you is just to know that you have a safety net. You know, if you say, I'm close to plan now, I'm going to take this leap of faith. You know, I don't know. Maybe you get lucky and you get great stock market returns right off of the bat. Maybe you get unlucky. But, you know, your safety net is a part-time job. Your safety net is a side job, what young people would call side hustles. So, you know, let's say you work 20 hours a week if things don't go right? Is 50% of freedom better than 0% of freedom? For a lot of us, the answer is yes, but none of what I'm sharing today is prescriptive. It's just descriptive. I want you to think about these items and make the decision that's right for you. And I say this in every video. This isn't financial advice. It can't be financial advice. I don't know your specific situation, but these are things to think about. And then I want to encourage you to believe in yourself. You know, we're humans. If you're watching videos like this, I suspect you're very resourceful. I suspect you have a valuable skill, and I suspect you're adaptable. And so if you're wondering and you're saying, I'm close, and I'd like to take the leap, but I just don't know, I'm a little fearful. You know, I encourage you to believe in yourself. I think believing in yourself is going to pay off in spades in so many different ways. You're going to do what it takes. I talked about several of the different safety nets. You'll do what it takes if you get a negative surprise, but you know, it's probably a coin toss. I don't know whether you get a negative surprise or a positive surprise. So think about that, make the decision that's right for you. And I also encourage you to watch this video up here where I talk about average income for retirees, and this video down here where I talk about 5 reasons to retire as soon as you can. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.